Hello and welcome to the Microphotonics Imaging Laboratory here in Allentown, Pennsylvania. We're happy to have you with us today. Each month we're going to be going through some new tips and tricks videos to help you get the most out of your SkyScan Micro CT instrument. Let's go ahead and jump into this month's tip. Hello and welcome to this edition of the Microphotonics Tip of the Month series. Today we're going to be talking about some new changes in the way we're going to set up scans, and is different in this new version of the SkyScan 1275 control software. So this is the latest release of the SkyScan 1275 control software, which is version 1.7 at this time. So you can always go onto your SkyScan 1275 acquisition computer, open up the control software, select Help, About SkyScan 1275, and that will tell you which control software version you're running. In this case, we've already upgraded to the latest version, version 1.7, which was released a few weeks ago. After this update, you'll notice that a few things are going to be pretty different with the control software, and so that's why we're going to be making this video and reviewing this video today. Namely, you'll see down here on the bottom in our toolbar, there's a new menu available, which is here on the right side and tells us where spiral scanning is available and is not available when using the SkyScan 1275. Now you might recall that spiral or helical scanning, as it's sometimes also known, is available on the SkyScan 1275, but due to the total distance that the stage can travel up and down, you aren't always able to use spiral scanning at every magnification you might want to use. And so this change to the control software really helps us to be able to set up spiral scans with much more clarity than we were able to in past versions. So I already have a sample in the instrument. I'm going to go ahead and close the door. Give that a second to close. And what you'll see is there's another new feature that's going to pop up here. And this is, once the door is closed, is going to allow you to insert the object diameter. And so by typing in the diameter of your sample, this will help the instrument know how large your sample is and try to help you avoid colliding the sample with either the detector or the X-ray source as you're moving to different magnifications. So this is another safety feature. It should be something you're using. If you upgrade to version 1.7 and you do not see this feature added when you launch the software and open and close the door, go ahead and get in touch with us here at Microphotonics and we can walk you through the process to enable this step separately from this video. So for this case, I already know my object diameter is 15 millimeters at its widest point, so I can select OK. I can turn on my X-ray source, and now I see my sample loaded onto the brass stage within the instrument. So I want to capture this sample at a voxel size of 15 micrometers. And you see also here within our object position menu, there's also the new object diameter, which is what we talked about before. This will automatically prompt you when you close the door, if that's enabled. If not, like I said, reach out to us. We can take care of that for you. Otherwise, you can always enter the diameter of your sample at its maximum width right here under the object diameter, which is part of the object position menu. So if I click OK, it's going to go ahead and adjust to a 15 micrometer voxel size, which is what I want to use. So now let's first talk about just spiral scanning, a single field of view. So you'll see right now at the bottom right, it says spiral scanning is available starting from 14 millimeters in height. Now, one key thing to remember is that this says millimeters, not micrometers. So it has nothing to do with the voxel size we're using other than the voxel size determines the position of the stage, which is what determines where we can use spiral scanning. So if I were to navigate my height, my elevation to 14 millimeters, again, we'll see the sample move down, and now we'll see spiral scanning is available 14 millimeters, and we see this new red line here on the side of the screen. And so this red line is showing us what can be captured from here to here if we use a single field of view spiral scan. That is the height of the sample we will collect using a single field of view spiral scan. And you'll note that that's smaller than a standard field of view scan where we're not using spiral scan. We would go from here to here, which is a slightly longer distance. So we are losing some vertical height, and that's because of the way that spiral scan acquires images where the stage is constantly rotating, and we have to throw away a lot more data at the start and end of the scan because we don't have enough rotational projection images in order to generate a useful image. So that's why a spiral scan will always capture less height of your sample than a standard circular scan. All right, so now we understand this new submenu down here, which is giving us some tips. As we adjust our voxel size, say we went out to 20 for some reason, we'll see that it tells us, oh, now you need to be at 19 millimeters of height, and you see the red bars are missing. So if we move to a minimum of 19 millimeters, then our red bars are back. Of course, if we go out to something like 30 millimeters, the red bars are going to stay there because now we're surpassed our minimum height. In this case, I do want to acquire this scan at 15 micrometers, so I'll move back to this position. Now say I want to capture several lengths of the sample versus just this one field of view I can capture. Well, in the past, we would have double-clicked at the top and double-clicked at the bottom to set this as a multiple connected scan, kind of like what you see here. But that's not as very helpful, especially for spiral scanning. So there's a new feature that's added into this 1275 control software, and that's the scout scanning. If you've used a different model of SkyScan instrument before, you may already be familiar with this method. If not, I'm going to give a quick overview. So to access the scout scanning menu, you go to your Actions dropdown and you click Start Scout Scan. And so what this is going to do is it's going to pop open a new window here, and then your sample is going to move through its available heights, capture different images as it moves up the length of your sample, and then that's going to represent the full travel length of the stage. And so once it's done, you will see a final image here. And so this image, you have a slider, you can look up and down to see different regions of your sample if it's taller than this. And what you'll see is, if you remember, we have those purple or like red lines that we had previously. Those have been transferred over here to our oversized scan as well. So now we can see that anything between this top and bottom purple line can be captured using a spiral scan. Of course, anything within this green line on the left side that is numbered can be captured using a standard circular scan. So that's our traditional oversized scan, and now we can also see the bounds of our oversized spiral scan and understand what percentage of the sample can be captured under that setting. So say I want to capture these larger beads using a spiral scan. All right, so in the scout view, I will click and drag, and you see that it shows, I'm left clicking by the way, you see that it shows the total height. If I hold down the control key and do the same thing, now it's showing me the height in yellow and also a parentheses 2. And so this is going to be representing the number of scans that will be required to collect this sample height from the start of my line to the end of my line using a circular scan. So I'm going to go ahead and release my mouse and my control button, and we'll see it asks me, do you want to add this part to your oversized scans? And I'm going to go ahead and say yes, because we do want to do that. And what you see is that this brings up our scanning options menu, and so you should be very familiar with this window. Nothing is really changed here. You can give a file name, a data path, your steps, your frame averaging, all this kind of information. And so right now it's saying, let's go ahead and do a connected circular scan with 2 parts. All right, so that's the way you can use Scout Scan to set up a standard circular scan. Now, of course, if we want to do a spiral scan instead, we can select the spiral scan option, and now that will turn off the connected scan with 2 parts, and it'll say spiral scan oversize, and it automatically brings in our start and end stage height positions. Of course, you can do single field of view or spiral scan oversize. In this case, we're going to do oversize. That's why we use the scout view. All right, so if I were to set this up and click scan, then this stage would position itself and begin scanning our spiral scan in this way. And because we are between this top and bottom purple line, we know that we will be able to capture it via spiral scan. So I'm going to go ahead and close that and close this scout view. And we can go back to our sample height, say like 40 millimeters, where we can see these large beads at the top. And again, this is where I'd be able to catch the top and the bottom of my spiral scan if I want to do a single field of view. So to do that, I can do my scanning options, select spiral scan, and select single field of view, and it will start automatically at this height and proceed where it needs to go. So this is the way to do a single field of view spiral scan as well. All right, hopefully this answers some questions about how to use the new SkyScan 1275 version 1.7 control software, both for oversized standard circular scans as well as spiral scans, both in single field of view and in oversize. If you have any questions, as always, please reach out to us here at Microphotonics. We'd be happy to assist you further and answer any other questions you may have. Thanks and have a great day.
Hello. Thank you for watching this installment of our video tip of the month. At Microphotonics, we strongly believe that the research you do changes the world, and we're happy to support you in your efforts through these videos, through our advanced training courses, and our annual workshops. Through these efforts, we strive to make sure that you are getting the most from your Bruker Micro CT machine. If you have any questions on this video or any other questions, feel free to give us a call or send us an email. Thank you again, and have a good day.